Chisel is an online IDE to build no-code API integrations. Let's see together how we can create a simple endpoint that combines together data fetched from two different APIs. Specifically, we're going to extend the information returned by the Stripes Invoices API by including currency conversion results in the payload and exposing the results as our own brand new endpoint. Let's go ahead and create a new stream. We will call this stream Stripe Currency Conversion. Now, the first thing we need to do is specify a URL to fetch information from. In this case, we're going to use Stripes Invoices API. This API requires an authentication key, so we need to provide it by adding it here. We can test if the API is working as expected by clicking Get. As you can see, we're fetching the data from Stripes API. It's worth highlighting that all the requests performed so far have stayed in your browser. The data, as well as the authentication information, hasn't left your browser yet. This means that you can try most of Chisel's functionality without the need of saving streams configurations on our servers. Only when saving our changes, we will store streams details in the cloud. The first transformation we want to perform is extract the data field so that it gets returned as the top level field of the JSON response. We're going to use the advanced transform. The advanced transform supports JMS path queries. You can check the result of your JMS path query live from the preview, and once you're happy with the results, you can confirm them by clicking OK. As you can see, the applied transformation is added to the right-hand side panel. We can click on the transformation to disable it and see how the data was originally. And then we can reapply it by clicking on it again. What we want to do now is reduce the size of the payload coming from Stripe to only include the information we need. In this case, we're only interested in the invoice ID, amount due, currency, and the created timestamp fields. Once we're satisfied with what we have selected, we can click on Filter. Filter will filter the results to a smaller dataset. As before, you can just disable specific transformations to see how the data was before applying it. We can do it one by one, or we can reapply them all together. What we're gonna do now is integrate another API that returns currency conversions and merge the result with the payload we've shaped so far. As you can see, the amount due field is specified in USD. We want to add a euro currency conversion in each item of the array. We're going to use the Frankfurt API. In order to do that, we're going to use the advanced transformation. However, this time we're going to use the fetch transformation. The fetch transformation requires a URL to be provided. This URL can be specified using custom placeholders to expose data from each item of the array. Please note that the fetch transformation currently only works with array datasets. What we're going to do is make sure that the original currency is taken from each item of the array. Since we can use JMS path queries in our placeholders, we're going to use it to get the currency code from each item. JMS path queries are resolved against each item of the array. We're going to convert to a euro amount. The original amount will be taken from the array as well, by using a second placeholder. In this case, from the amount due field. What we want to do is make sure that the value fetched from each item gets merged into the original item instead of replacing it altogether. To do so, we're going to specify a merge key that we're going to call euro amount due. We can now click OK to apply the transformation. As you can see, the euro amount due has been added to each item in the array, and it contains the euro currency conversion data. Let's now add an additional API call to also include Japanese yen conversion. We can go ahead and add another advanced transformation specifying JPY as the destination currency. In this case, we will call it JPY amount due as the merge key. We're really happy with our transformations, so we can now save the stream and expose an endpoint that returns the result of all the transformations as a JSON response. When we enable the deploy and then save, we make the endpoint publicly available. If you want, you can add an authorization layer to your endpoint by using the API tokens section to generate authentication tokens. Once you've generated a new token, you can associate it with your endpoint. At that point, the token gets appended to the preview URL. As you can see, data will be accessible only if you provide the correct token to the endpoint. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please head over to Chisel and try it out. We're currently looking for early adopters and feedback.